Hello everyone, welcome again for another lesson with A Course in Miracles and myself, Janet Melody. Today's lesson is 183. So as always, we're going to get a statement of the day, which today is, I call upon God's name and on my own. That phrase is what we need to use in the morning for 30 minutes and in the evening for 30 minutes. That's the maximum. If you can do 5, then great, but up to 30 would be preferred, because really these lessons now are really about getting the experience, to propel you forward, because the more you feel into the way this course is aiming to get us, the way it's getting us to a place of peace, of love, of joy, all of those things, of seeing the world as those things. And today's lesson is bringing us closer to that. And then once you've done your practicing in the morning, on the hour, every hour, continue throughout the day just to remind yourself for 1 to 2 minutes of what this lesson is about, and that you're calling upon God's name and on my own. So once you have that name in your mind, that's what you're going to be thinking of today. And the details are as follows. God's name is holy, but no holier than yours. To call upon his name is but to call upon your own. A father gives his son his name, and thus identifies the son with him. His brothers share his name, and thus are they united in a bond to which they turn for their identity. Your father's name reminds you who you are, even within a world that does not know, even though you have not remembered it. God's name cannot be heard without response, nor said without an echo in the mind that calls you to remember. Say his name, and you invite the angels to surround the ground on which you stand, and sing to you as they spread out their wings to keep you safe and shelter you from every worldly thought that would intrude upon your holiness. Repeat God's name, and all the world responds by laying down illusions. Every dream the world holds dear has suddenly gone by, and where it seemed to stand you find a star, a miracle of grace. The sick arise, healed of their sickly thoughts. The blind can see, the deaf can hear. The sorrowful cast off their mourning, and the tears of pain are dried as happy laughter comes to bless the world. So today we're looking for a name, and that name is going to be unique to every one of us. So whatever name makes you think of that omnipresence, of that God energy, love, creator, universe, source, whatever really invokes those feelings within you, that's the name you want to remember today. And in your practice, close your eyes and call upon that name in your mind. Don't say it out loud. Keep it in your mind, calling it, because we're trying to get rid of the thoughts. We're putting in the thought of God, or universe, I might say, or life force energy. That's how I see it. It's like this life force energy that goes through everything. So we're looking beyond the illusion. We don't say, like it says, sick people. We don't see sadness. We don't see the grievances. We don't see the problems in the world. We don't see them because we see beyond what they are. We see that they are an energy, a life force that is moving through everything. That is what we're looking for today, and seeing beyond what you would call the mass, what we've given everything around us. That's the aim today. So repeat the name of God, and little names have lost their meaning. No temptation but becomes a nameless and unwanted thing before God's name. Repeat his name and see how easily you will forget the names of all the gods you valued. They have lost the name of God you gave them. They become anonymous and valueless to you, although before you let the name of God replace their little names, you stood before them worshipfully, naming them as gods. And we did. We labelled everything, we labelled people, and we saw that as who they really are. And we're trying to transcend beyond that. We're going beyond what we've given. Because a lot of the times we see people and we have issues and grievances and all, and that is where we're... And so we're trying to get beyond that to the place of love and peace and joy that is that life force energy again that runs through them. So repeat the name of God and call upon yourself, whose name is his. Repeat his name and all the tiny nameless things on earth slip into right perspective. Thus who call upon the name of God cannot mistake the nameless for the name, nor sin for grace, nor bodies for the Holy Son of God. And should you join a brother as you sit with him in silence and repeat God's name along with him within your quiet mind, you have established there an altar which reaches to God himself and his Son. So there you can actually have somebody in the room with you so that then you can have that experience. And if you're both doing that meditation of closing your eyes and repeating their meaning and trying to see beyond that person to the light within them and then to you as well, you could have that like altar of bringing forth the truth in that moment, which could be very powerful. So practice but this today. Repeat God's name slowly again and still again. Become oblivious to every name but his. Hear nothing else. Let all your thoughts become anchored on this. No other word we use except at the beginning when we say today's idea but once. And then God's name becomes our only thought, our only word, the only thing that occupies our mind, the only wish we have, the only sound with any meaning, and the only name of everything that we desire to see, of everything that we would call our own. So that one name today that really brings you to that warm, comforting, loving, all-encompassing energy. Once you've got that name in your mind, stay with that mind, thought, the name. Stay with it and allow it to unfold and unravel, because with that name you're going to see everything around you as that name. You're going to see every single thing that you look upon as that name, and you're going to get rid of all the other labels around it. You just want to see the truth. You want to see that one holy light in everything today. That is the aim. Thus do we give an invitation which can never be refused, and God will come and answer it himself. Think not he hears the little prayers of those who call on him with names of idols cherished by the world. They cannot reach him thus. He cannot hear requests that he be not himself, or that his Son receive another name than his. Repeat God's name and you acknowledge him as sole creator of reality. And you acknowledge also that his Son is part of him, creating in his name. Sit silently and let his name become the all-encompassing idea that holds your mind completely. Let all thoughts be still except this one. And to all other thoughts respond with this, and see God's name replace the 1,000 little names you gave your thoughts, not realizing that there is one name for all there is and all that there will be. So yeah, as you see your mind, you can even try replacing what you're thinking with that thought. If you've got thoughts, let them fly by and then replace it immediately with the thought you have for God, for light, for joy, for love. Replace it with that one word, and only use one word. Don't use a whole sentence of words. Just use one word like love or grace, or two words, like higher power, whatever it is for you. One word, just use that. Repeat God's name and you acknowledge him as sole creator of reality. And you acknowledge also that his Son is part of him, creating in his name. Sit silently and let his name become the all-encompassing idea that holds your mind completely. Let all thoughts be still except this one, and to all other thoughts respond with this, and see God's name replace the 1,000 little names you gave your thoughts, not realizing that there is one name for all there is and all that there will be. So that again is that same paragraph, just to bring that all home. Today you can achieve a state in which you will experience the gift of grace. You can escape all bondage of the world and give the world the same release you found. You can remember what the world forgot and offer it your own remembering. You can accept today the part you play in its salvation and your own as well. And both can be accomplished perfectly. Turn to the name of God for your release, and it is given you. No prayer but this is necessary, for it holds them all within it. Words are insignificant and all requests unneeded. When God's Son calls on his Father's name, his Father's thoughts become his own. He makes his claim to all his Father gave. It is giving still and will forever give. He calls on him to let all things he thought he made be nameless now, and in their place the holy name of God becomes his judgment of their worthlessness. All little things are silent. Little sounds are soundless now. The little things of earth have disappeared. The universe consists of nothing but the Son of God, who calls upon his Father, and his Father's voice gives answer in his Father's holy name. In this eternal, still relationship in which communication far transcends all words, and yet exceeds in depth and height whatever words could possibly convey, is peace eternal. In our Father's name we would experience this peace today, and in his name it shall be given us. Whoa, so there we go. We're grabbing a name that is really bringing to us what we see as God, love, light, source. We're bringing that name into our minds, silently in the mind, with that sound resonating, just that one word sound in the mind, bringing it forth so that it just transforms our whole world. And when we call upon it, that energy will come to us, because our minds are so powerful when we focus on something, when we give focus to something. If you've ever looked into quantum physics, it shows that what we focus upon, we bring more about. So like the law of attraction, all those kinds of things, we're focusing on that one word, and that will bring so much forth into our lives today. So use this wonderful lesson to really bring that energy within you and let it come to you in abundance, because it really will. Have a beautiful practice today, everyone, and I will see you again soon. Thanks for listening. Bye.